welcome back to Pro Dad, New Dad. I am Joel, this is Chris, and this is another one of our minisodes where I think we're going to talk about
Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars. So this is a massive topic. We're going to do a little introduction now. We're going to come back to this at a later point.
Yeah, I think I've seen this asked a lot. I keep seeing it come up again and again and again on like forums or chat and friends.
How do I introduce my kid to Star Wars in such a way as for it to not be off-putting?
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into the wider discussion of like what do you want to introduce media or that kind of thing. I want to talk specifically about Star Wars. I think I like Star Wars a little bit more than you.
Yep, I think that you could say that to almost any human being.
Yeah, but it's not a gulf apart, is it? Like you really love Star Wars.
I really love Star Wars. Yeah.
Now, before you had your kids, did you want to introduce your kids to Star Wars?
Yeah. I'd read several things on the correct order of viewing the films.
Yeah.
And I'd seen a great video, which I'm sure lots of people have seen, where a dad is showing his son and his daughter Empire Strikes Back for the first time, and when you get to the father thing, the boy goes,
I've seen it. Yeah.
So that I filmed my son watching Empire Strikes Back in the hope he would have a similar response, and he didn't.
No,
he did. I mean, I can show you the video. I think I've got it on my phone. And he's like, and I'm like, do you understand what just happened?
Okay,
it's his dad. And I had to kind of explain it to him. He's like, but he didn't do the big shot because I'm not that smart. But
do you think that's because you pitched it too young?
Maybe, but it's only so long you can leave it, because they're going to start, because Darth Vader being Luke's dad is such a popular thing throughout all culture that you will just come across it without realising.
So before they go to school, really?
Yeah, otherwise their friends will tell them. So I think that you have to get it early enough that they haven't discovered it by accident.
Because I've got like a storybook of the Skywalker trilogy with nice pictures and stuff. I thought that might be nice because you can start reading that at a young age, just little bits, just to get some of the ideas.
Well, but again, it's so in everything that they'll see. The first thing I showed my son before we watched the movies was just little clips on YouTube of lightsaber fights.
Right.
So his first Star Wars thing he probably ever saw was like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn fighting Darth Maul.
Okay.
Like, because although the prequels are terrible,
that's a great fight.
Which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great fight for a 4-year-old to watch. And so we would then we had a toy lightsaber and we would play lightsabers and little noises.
So just introducing some of the ideas of the world.
So lightsabers is a good one, and I think I had all the Lego Star Wars stuff. So he was playing with my X-Wing and TIE Fighter from a very young age, like 2 or 3. He was experienced.
So playing with the toy, and he was all right playing with the toys that he didn't have. That's a really good idea. So what about things like Clone Wars or Rebels, the cartoons? Did you try those?
No, I haven't tried those. We only watched them recently on Disney Plus.
Right.
And
did you like them?
No, they didn't grab him. I think they'll be good, and I think that there's legs there. But I mean, I don't think they weren't the same as watching the movie, because again, my kids might be different to everyone else's, but movies are tough, and the older the movies they are, the more tough they are.
Because it's slow, right?
It's slow.
Empire Strikes Back is slow.
So I keep having to say to my kids, like, movies are often slow in the beginning. You have to wait for the good stuff. And it's quite a hard thing to get through, because the older the movie, the slower they are.
Yeah.
I mean, you go and watch any old movie and they're really slow.
So what did you do first? So you didn't do Clone Wars, you didn't do Rebels, you didn't do any games. I love the toy idea. Yeah. I think that's a brilliant idea.
A lot of YouTube. So before we watched anything, he'd seen...
So spoiler-free stuff on YouTube. Well, relatively spoiler-free.
He'd seen 4 or 5... lightsaber battles on YouTube, and that we'd watched lots and lots of times and reenacted at the park. So we'd go to the park and we'd get sticks, and I'd be Darth Maul and he'd be Obi-Wan Kenobi, and
this is great stuff. This is really good stuff.
And we would play Star Wars a lot before he'd ever seen the movie.
And so he just there wasn't like, I need to know what my motivation is. There's none of that. It's just, you've given me some characters, and there's a good and a bad, and I'm straight in. I don't need the context.
Yes, there was simple stuff like there's the fight on Geonosis, where where he whistles a dragon and he's fighting General Grievous, and he does a whistle and this dragon thing comes. Like that was his favourite bit, like whistling a dragon.
Right.
It, like as a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, whatever it was, that just made him go. That's so cool. And so we would always, like, he would always do the fake whistle. He would go, and his dragon would come and he'd jump on his dragon, and I'd be General Grievous, and then we'd reenact the whole General Grievous fight where, like, he gets the lightsaber, the blaster, and he's like, primitive weapon, and he throws it away.
Because I suppose the games are quite complex for someone that young. You need to go very old, kind of SNES, NES type games. So games are probably maybe not a good one of entry point. So we've obviously changed since we were lads. You've now got the Disney canon. You've got the Disney trio. Did you try and go Disney first because it's the most modern and like sensibilities? Did you go prequels because I don't know, chronological, or did you go straight for OT? What did you do?
Yeah, no. So original trilogy. So something I read said that you can't do them in chronological order, because if you do them in chronological order, first of all, the first 3 films are such steaming piles of shit.
Yeah.
The prequels is that they'll never want to watch any of it.
So you're just going to put them off,
right? And also it ruins the Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad.
Which is the machete order, I think you might be referring to.
So the plan for me was we just did the first 3 films, and the first Star Wars was really tough. He found it really slow going. He wanted to quit several times.
And is that because he hadn't really watched films before?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, well, we'd watch some films, but they're watching things like
Trolls or whatever.
Yeah, Trolls.
So snappy editing, fast. That kind of
exactly. Lots of stuff from the.
So how old would he have been when you did 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's bits that he still remembers and talks about. The bit where like Han swoops in right at the end.
Yeah.
And saves.
You're clear to go, kid. You know that?
Like we rewound that like 10 times, and he redoes, and so like it gives you the goosebumps. And
I've got goosebumps now thinking about it. Yeah.
Like that really resonated with him. He loved that so much. And the Force Ghosts and Obi-Wan Kenobi striking down. He had a big long conversation about why he let Darth Vader kill him, and what that meant, and why he'd be more powerful as a ghost.
So would the advice be, you think 5 was probably quite a good age?
Yeah.
But maybe...
That depends on the kids. Some kids would be ready at 4, some kids would be ready at 6. He probably could have gone another year, but then he would have already started school. So,
and if they're exposed to a lot of snappy movies before that, don't worry too much about the fact they might not be engaged start to finish. Let them find their own moments.
Yeah, exactly. And like, if you're sitting there with some toys and he's playing along and you're having a chat doing the slow bits, then so be it.
That's okay.
Like, don't get mad with the kid if they want to talk through the movie and have questions or get distracted and things.
So that was A New Hope.
Yeah, New Hope was good.
And then when did you do Empire?
Almost straight away. Yeah, so like a couple of days later.
Is that because he wanted to, or was that something you pushed on him? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was a joint thing. But we watched New Hope, and then we watched Empire Strikes Back, and that was really good. And we had the big moments of Luke Skywalker, and we talked about it a lot.
And it's very slow though, Empire. Like, how did he find that?
No, but the start's really good with the AT-ATs and
I suppose.
Like, so it's a good start. He loved the A-wings flying around the AT-ATs. And then we did Jedi quite soon afterwards as well, and 5-year-olds don't hate Ewoks.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah. So he was quite on board with the Ewoks.
Again, still some slow bits. I think he got bored on some bits, and there are some boring bits in Jedi. But again, really loved the end. Really loved the whole like joining the dark side and whether he should or not. And I really remember those conversations while we were watching the film. Sometimes I pause it and answer his questions and explain stuff. But the whole idea of him being turned, and it was all resonating. It was
so that's great. That's quite a level of depth.
Yeah, and
maybe,
and then the Death Star blowing up again, and it was brilliant. Yeah.
And did you do the Disney films as well afterwards?
No, we haven't really done those. So we then started the prequels because he wanted to see Qui-Gon Jinn and he wanted to see Darth Maul, and
that must have been hard.
So we did Phantom Menace, and then we did it over 2 or 3 sittings because we couldn't really get through it. And then we started Attack of the Clones, and we never finished it.
And Sith is kind of the best one, really.
But I mean, Attack of the Clones was so bad. it's so unwatchably awful that it almost turned him off Star Wars every end. So I would simply say, just
try to avoid them.
Don't show your kids Attack of the Clones.
There's a lesson there.
Nothing good will come of it.
Kids don't do prequels.
No, stay away. No. And I think the other films are great, and we've talked about them as well. But then we kind of got on to watching the Avengers and things, and some other
some different.
But we've gone back and watched the bit where Han Solo saves Luke Skywalker quite a lot.
Lovely.
Yeah, he loves that. And when he says, like, I can tell he doesn't want to watch the whole thing again because it was the slog. But there's bits he likes to watch again, and they're on YouTube and things. So
lovely. Okay, so lessons learned.
Yep.
Try and do it before they are like wider popular culture is foisted upon them, because they're going to get some of the big things spoiled. I might try Rebels or Clone Wars.
Okay.
I think when they're younger, maybe that will work. I love the idea of toys. I think that's a really nice way.
Yeah.
I love the idea of play acting and like short clips on YouTube and lightsabers and that kind of thing. I think that's really good. And then go through the OT back to back almost, like once a week or and then maybe look at the Disney stuff later and don't do prequels.
Yeah, well, we're fully intending on doing the Disney stuff. Rogue One is actually my favourite Star Wars film, and so we will watch Rogue One at some point. But again, I think it's got some slow bits in it that may not grapple. But
it does, but the final third is remarkable.
It is my favourite Star Wars film.
Okay, putting out your favourite Star Wars film on YouTube is potentially
that's what we want, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Engage. Tell us why we're wrong in the comments. What your favourite Star Wars film
why
is?
Rogue One isn't the best Star Wars film.
Why the prequels are amazing?
It is. Yeah.
Bear in mind,
no one's going to say the prequels.
They will.
No. They will. If there's anyone who's seen Attack of the Clones recently and thinks it's anything other than a steaming pile of hot shit, then I'd love to hear their argument for it.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's just.
But I think that's a good. I think that's a good roadmap.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's really nice.
I'm not saying I got it right, but I feel comfortable with my choices.
Yeah, we're going to come more on some talking about media and what you want to pass along and
when's the right time to watch Die Hard.
When's the right time to watch Die Hard?
Because I pushed for it this Christmas and was vetoed.
And I think your wife's probably right, but we'll come back to that. And how kids make their own media choices. What surprised you, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, it's the different world from when we were kids with Netflix.
Absolutely. Yeah. But until then, this is Pro Dad, Noob Dad. I'm the Noob Dad, Chris.
I'm the Pro Dad, Joel.
And like, subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
See you next week.
See you later.
As well as up. Seek professional advice.